Hello and welcome, terrific Taurus. How are you all this beautiful month in November? My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com, and I'm here to do your psychic astro horoscope. So when I say psychic, that's because I'll be doing some psychic readings. There's three components to it. There's a psychic part, there's an astrology part, and there's also a tarot part. So let's get the ball rolling with the horoscope section. And what I want to talk about initially is the fact that Mercury is going retrograde from the 1st of the month to the 21st of the month. And for you, terrific Taurians, this is in your 7th house of committed relationships. So it's not just personal relationships, it's also your work could be involved. If you have any partners or close associates that you work with on a daily basis that are important to you, okay? For many of us, it means partners of a romantic nature and also marriages, okay? So with Mercury retrograde there, you may find that issues that were around in the past that you thought had been resolved come back to be healed and to be released. So it's not all doom and gloom. You could find that a past lover comes back. For example, Taurus Ex comes back into your life. And my advice there would be, if they are an ex, is to remember why they are an ex, okay? So you're checking to see if those issues that came around the first time, if they've actually been resolved this time. And, clear out any sort of hidden energy that might be there down deep in your subconscious. With Mercury retrograde, you can also have issues with technology, especially if you've got any psychic ability, because, psychics often do have problems with technology. Things that work for everybody else don't seem to work for us so well. Computers play up, mobile phones, all of that sort of thing goes on with Mercury retrograde. If you have any legal issues coming up or contracts to sign, if you sign them in the retrograde period, you might find that you have to go back and revisit something in the contract. So if you're buying a new white car, for example, maybe there's no white cars left and you have to go to another color, for example, so things can go belly up. There's a sort of general misunderstanding in communications. And for you, terrific Taurus, because this is to do with your close partnerships, there could be misunderstandings in those relationships. So you want to be really careful about crossing the T's and dotting the I's when you're communicating with significant partners. Alrighty, the second sees Venus joining Jupiter in your 8th house of shared resources. This is actually a beautiful energy, Venus and Jupiter together. Venus is all about cooperation, appreciation of beauty and art, and of course Venus is in love with love. Venus just loves the idea of being in love. And 8th house can also be about shared resources and intimacy. So this means, you're likely to have a beautiful time in November in close personal relationships and also sexual relationships. The 8th house rules sex. So if you've met somebody special, it might go to this is a great time to take it to the next level in November with Venus and Jupiter there. Jupiter's all about increase. So he likes to make things bigger, and so it could become more committed, and Venus loves that too. So if you're in a relationship, it might be that it does go to the next level. You could have a baby, you could get married, you could have a renewal of vows, or maybe you buy a house together or something like that. Buying a house together actually is quite likely also, because the 8th house is about other people's money. So this includes mortgages and loans, and maybe you're going to buy something significant together, a house, a car, or something like that, a boat, something that you can both use together. So a deepening in relationships with Venus there, cooperation, smooth flow of energy, and just peaceful and sort of lovely feeling that goes with Venus and Jupiter together. If you're watching your weight, do be careful. Jupiter can sometimes get you to eat more, but it's more likely with Jupiter there that you're going to be going out to restaurants together and really enjoying yourself, partying, having a good time, and just having fun. It's just lovely. The 12th sees a full moon in your first house of self joining Uranus. Okay, so full moon, all about transformation. Now you already have a fair bit of transformation going on with Uranus there in the first house of self. A lot of new things coming. Maybe you felt like changing your appearance or buying some new clothes or something like that. Uranus is sort of unexpected and it can be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but this is to transform you. So it's actually, good in the long term. So just know that, with the full moon there, a transformation is on your doorstep and you actually can't turn away from it. You will change this month. The 20th sees Mars into your 7th house, joining Mercury and the Sun. So you're feeling pretty motivated about your close, important relationships, your committed relationships. So you could be spending more time with a partner or, husband or a work associate. And you're motivated to do it, and you've got the energy to do it. There's insight and happiness around it with the Sun there. And Mercury, lots of communications going on too. Really sitting down and working out what is it that actually works for you in this relationship and what doesn't work. And then, working on that together. So you'll be talking about, what you can do to improve the quality of your relationship. The 23rd sees the Sun, and the 26th sees the new moon going into your 8th house. Hidden things will come to light. The Sun there brings insight and awareness. So the 8th house again is about intimacy, sex, hidden things coming up. You may become really sort of entranced with metaphysics, your own natural psychic ability. Perhaps you want to do some psychic readings, or you want to do astrology, or you're just really hungry for spiritual answers. Okay, so you're likely to find out a lot in November about what's going on inside your subconscious. The new moon brings new beginnings, so maybe you've had a bit of a feeling deep down that you want to change in certain areas of your life. So maybe you want more sex, or maybe you want less sex, or maybe you want better sex, and so with the new moon in the 8th house, you'll be really sort of looking at ways that you can fulfill your heart's desires, which is great. Okay, now, so that's the sort of vibe as far as your horoscope goes. Now, let's have a little look at the board, and then I will do a psychic summary at the end. So let's go to the board now for tarot. Here we go. And I've already pre-shuffled up these cards, but you can see here, I'll give them a quick shuffle again as we go. And I'm going to go week by week. Okay, so we're doing the first week for November. Oh, that one's very wanting to stand out. Okay, so we have the 3 of Cups. This is great for socializing with friends, and even at work you can get a lot done. It's about teamwork, and you can achieve a lot together. The thing about it is, it's mostly good. All of them are good, actually. It's a matter of what viewpoint you take. But with this one, you can see here the fish's head. The three lasses are standing in the fish's head. Fish is a symbol of the subconscious. So there are going to be in November subconscious energies being activated, and this could be at work or at play. And if you are sort of associating with two other people, so there's three, just be aware that sometimes it's a bit like a three-legged race. So yes, you can get along together on three legs, but you have to work as a team, and there can be a few glitches. So it's not 100% smooth sailing. Sometimes with two can sort of get into a clique together, and then the third one can feel left out. If you find yourself feeling isolated or left out at work or at play, just bear that in mind. You can be civil, but you can step out of that. You don't need to go along with that. The other thing this can sometimes mean is a love triangle. And so it can start off as like a friendship. You're friends with people, two people, and then, somebody makes a move on your partner, and it can indicate a love triangle. So do be aware of that. But normally it's not a great big, it doesn't turn into a great big, huge, impactful thing like that. Normally it's just something that you notice that isn't quite right, but you can be civil and get along together, okay? And it's a learning experience. It's all about cups, your emotions, you being in charge of your emotions and not your emotions being in charge of you. So view it as a bit of a test. Don't be worried or afraid about it. It's only a small test. And just take note of what happens if there's like two other people in your life at work or at play. And, if you're going out having fun, don't overdo the alcohol. Alrighty, so that's the first week of November for you, terrific Taurus. And let's have a look now at the second week and see what we come up with. Second week of November, that one. Wow. So this is the death card. Now, please don't freak out. Nobody is dying. This does not mean physical death of the body. This means death of an energy, the old you. You might have gone through this experience, for example, and found that somebody that you thought was your friend is not really your friend, or maybe not at the level that you thought it was. So something is dying. And, with all of the energy going on in your 7th house, your relationship could be dying on some level to be reborn on another level, okay? It's not a bad thing at all. We all go through changes. Even the best relationships die. And I remember when I was young, particularly in my 20s and 30s, I used to sometimes dream, occasionally I'd dream I was dying, and it used to freak me out, and I didn't realise that dreaming of dying means I'm being reborn as a new person, as a wiser person. I'm 60 now, so I'm still here. So please do not worry about this card. It's just part of natural development. Parts of ourselves continually die. We go to sleep at night, that day is finished. We wake up the next morning and a new day begins. That's what that means, okay? Something is passing so that something new can start again. Now, looking at the third week of the month, and I'm going to go with that one. All right, Queen of Pentacles. This is great, fabulous card, especially if you've had issues around money, because Pentacles is on the earthly plane, okay? So this is all about physicality and physical things. So if you've had issues with money or possessions, in the third week of November, there's likely to be improvement. This woman is so cluey with money. She's very organized. She's very good at earning money for herself, like working. She works hard She's creative. Often she's in like a managerial or leadership type role. If you don't have any physical person to lead or, sort of delegate things to other people, if you can't do this, it's about delegating to other energies within yourself or leading yourself, okay? So self-leadership. But also great for money, great in relationships. Typically she has a partner, but she is very independent, okay? You can see there she's doing some embroidery, okay? So there's some talent or craftsmanship. And she's got another little box of sacred goodies here on her lap. Red is all about taking action, all right? Don't leave it up to other people. This woman is a hands-on, organised, hard-working, shrewd person, but she gets the respect of everybody, okay, because she does really good things. Okay, so that's the 3rd week of November. Alrighty, looking now at the 4th week of November for terrific Taurus, and we come up with this one, and it's the 2nd of Swords. God, sometimes the 2 of Swords is what I'm trying to say because I'm thinking about the next thing that I'm going to be doing in a second. Which will be the psychic component. Already I'm slipping into that psychic mode, and so I can't talk properly. It's the 2 of Swords. Just be aware with this one that you will need your brain to be working quite correctly, because you're going to be making decisions about cutting things out, analysing, classifying and dissecting out things that no longer serve you. Swords are about thinking and making decisions. And see here in the background there's the reflections. So these are sort of like reflections of the past, but they're really not to do with the situation that's in front of you now, but you could be influenced by them. So do be careful, because you are not your past history, okay? You are an immortal being who lives forever. Your soul goes on forever. So although, the soul lives in past, present and future, just be aware when you're making decisions that these reflections, like harmonics, when you throw a stone onto a pond, there's a circle and then another circle, and they're harmonics of that stone landing in the water. These reflections here are harmonics of something that happened in the past that is affecting your thinking now. So the subconscious is activated when you're making these decisions. That may or may not be a good thing, but just whatever the situation is, take it for what it is, not what happened in the past, okay? So there's your 4 weeks terrific Taurians for November. Now I'm also going to draw a card as an overall theme for the beginning of the month, and we come up with this one. This is a 9 of Swords, a very long process which is almost complete, and you might need a rest now. You may be tired. Something has been going on and on and on, and it's ending, okay? And we've got this card here, the Death card. This is a 9. This is the end of a cycle, okay? And there's a bat up here in the top corner as well. And this is also indicating it's to do with the subconscious. So, there's subconscious contents being activated through November. Something is finishing. You need a rest so you can begin your new cycle, okay? It's like your book of life has turned the page and now you're going into a new chapter. Okay, so that was at the beginning of November. And let's look now at the end of November, how you're going on this journey, and then you're winding up at this situation now, which is the 3 of Wands. Okay, so other people involved again. This is more about taking action than last time, you know. It's like this could be family even, and you've all together, the three of you, been through some sort of process. And see all this fire down here? Cleansing by fire. And so, you know, this lady, she's got a shawl over her head, and that could indicate a death as well. And then we have the baseball bats taking action. A little bit of green for opportunities and growth. Action. Purity, white, purity of spirit. And see there's a little purple flower in the end here. Happiness and spirituality, as all the dross is burnt off, okay, so that you can restart again. Three of Wands, working together, and this could be at work as well, okay. Maybe you've come to the end of a project and it's been a hard, tough project, and there's still more to go because it's only the three. So it's not really the end of a project, it's like the end of a part of a project or something like that. But you're getting there. Okay, so your journey according to the tarot for November, dear terrific Taurians. Now, let's have a look here, and I'll do a psychic summary for you. Taurus, November 2019. Okay, so I'm in a cave and there's a lot of water dripping down the walls. Okay, so emotions could be sort of coming up. The cave is again another symbol of the subconscious. I see a big wheel turning, like a water wheel, and it's sort of, as it turns, it's carrying the water. So water is like your emotions, and it's also your vitality and well-being and the energies that come down from your soul. I get the word infinite, and so infinite, just no matter what happens, remember that you are an infinite being and that your soul lives forever. Okay, now there's a set of steps. So for some of you, you could have been down in the cave for some considerable time, and you're in fact coming out of the cave now, because I can see these steps leading to light, and there's a bit of a twisty tunnel. But if you follow that, you'll come into the light. So that's where you're going. And it could be that, you know, you've been through a process. I remember a long time ago, you know, I used to dream dreams. I'd go down into the ocean on one breath, and I've been down there for months and months and months on one breath, and then I'd come up and my lungs were really straining and I could hardly, you know, I wanted to take a breath, but of course I couldn't till I got to the surface of the water. And it feels like that for you, that in some way it's like maybe you can't breathe, or you feel constrained, or sort of, you know, something's tightly holding you in the situation that you're in. But just know you'll come to the top of the water, and then you'll be able to take a deep breath. Okay, so something really, see, I've got the light right in front of me now. Something really for you to look forward to, a new beginning and a new start after, you know, a tough few months, or maybe even longer than that, terrific Taurus. So that's fantastic news. I feel like that's sort of happening as I'm saying it. I feel like that's happening like in November, but also going into December, because Christmas seems very much different than it has been in previous years. Alrighty, so that's your horoscope, your psychic tarot horoscope for November, terrific Taurus. I do hope you find it helpful and it gives you food for thought. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it or you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell for regular updates from me. Thanks so much for listening, and now I'd like to wish you a very wonderful month, and I shall see you again next time. Okay, thank you and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.